Hey, hello, good afternoon, good evening. It is October 31st, Reformation Day. For those of you who are theology nerds, and despite my often strong language and rebellious streak, I am a theology nerd. So, happy Reformation Day, or Halloween, if you will. Thanks for stopping by. I'm TC. I am the host, the originator, the founder, the CEO, craft services, executive assistant, secretary, whatever you want to call it, of the channel. This is the MBRR Pod, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment podcast, and I really appreciate everybody being here. Jugs, good to see you. Jugs is always faithful to be here. Very rarely does Jugs miss a live, or any of the videos at all. So really happy to have you all as viewers. If you're a channel member, thank you very much. Big shout out to the Angry Vet from here on YouTube for all of the work that he has done in supporting me, and cannot thank him enough for that. And big shout out to IMAV comes over from Subscribestar for all of his support there. Those two have show producer credits, and cannot thank them enough. I cannot thank all the channel members enough. I cannot thank the subscribers and the viewers and the hate watchers. And if there's, if you like the content, if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate what I do, and you're not subscribed, please do. Hey, Palmer's Archer. Excuse me, Palmer Acre Homestead. Good to see you. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, I would love it if you would. If you like what I do and you want to support me in what I do, feel free to check me out on Subscribestar. You can find me at Subscribestar, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, or you can join channel memberships here. Everything you do helps. And while we're talking about helping, I want to throw this out. We're still looking for people to help support Julia and the kids as Chase goes to sentencing tomorrow morning, or based on the conviction that he had here just a month ago. So we're hoping for a good outcome at sentencing, and then we're hoping that we will. Hello, Adelina. We're hoping that we will see Chase come home shortly after the holidays, but in the interim, the girls and Julia are without their significant other and their daddy, and we'd like to see them supported throughout the holiday season at the very least, or until Chase comes home. And her Cash App information is under community notes. I put a note up for everybody to be able to find that. If you would rather to help Julia than do anything for the if you would rather help Julia but you're torn because you want to help me, please take what you would give to me and give it to Julia and the girls via Cash App. That's 100% heartfelt on my part. I have a very soft spot and tenderness in my heart for Julia and the girls, and especially for Chase. So if you could, I would be thankful if you would find that Cash App information on the community notes and send Julia a little bit and tell her that you heard about their need from me, and that you guys are praying for her or sending positive thoughts for her and Chase and the girls. That would be amazing, because I know it's tough for them right now. If you can do both and you want to help me, I would love that. I'm not going to say no to anybody that wants to, support the channel, and all your help means the world to me. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, first we're going to talk about the fact that I have superstar activist Spike Cohen coming on the channel tonight live at 8 p.m. Central. So if you have never heard Spike speak, you are in for a treat of a lifetime. Spike is a phenomenal activist. He is phenomenally motivational, and I have always been one of those people that says think local, act local, but Spike has got this mastered, and he has it down to a science, and he is powerfully effective in getting resolution to really bad situations involving corrupt government. And we are going to be talking about his work through You Are the Power. And those of you that are new to the channel, trust me, you will love Spike. You will want to tune in to hear what Spike has to say. He is a modern day philosophical hero, and he should be that way for almost all of you. Anybody that watches my stuff will admire Spike and really support what he does. So that's for tonight at 8 p.m. Topic of this Drive Time Dialectic for you folks is about whether or not social media platforms that belong to public entities, police departments, sheriff's offices, city councils, the city administration, county commissioners, county commission boards, state agencies and stuff, if they have a social media presence, Facebook, Twix, any of that, are they allowed to block individuals from seeing and viewing their pages or from commenting? Are they allowed to delete your comments? And if they could do that individually, does that honor their oath to the Constitution, especially to the Bill of Rights, or does that break their oath to the Constitution? And I would argue, because the courts have told public entities, sheriff's offices, police departments, candidates for office, people who hold office, cities, counties, all of that, you are not allowed to block individuals. You can turn off commenting altogether, which is the case of the city of Rochester. All city government pages in Rochester, police department, animal control, public utilities, city hall, so all the city pages have blocked all commenting. Now, some would argue that's, they're not honoring the public square, but at least it's equitable in the sense of across the board. It's an across the board. They just don't let anybody comment on their posts. However, I, as a matter of fact, about 3 months ago, happened to catch a Wabasha County deputy canine unit speeding on the very highway that I'm on right now. I managed to catch a Wabasha County deputy exceeding the speed limit by 10 to 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, not running lights and sirens, not running code, which according to Minnesota state law, the only time law enforcement officers are allowed to violate traffic codes and when they're on duty is when they're in response to an emergency, and at that point they are required to run lights and sirens. They have to have lights to the front, they have to be responding to an emergency, and if they're not responding to an emergency, then there is no justification for them to violate traffic codes. They do not get to violate traffic codes just because they are law enforcement officials driving an official vehicle. 3 months ago, that's what I observed, that's what I recorded, and that's what I put up on my YouTube channel. You can find it here. The Wabasha County Deputy Canine Unit violating those codes. I shared that video to the Wabasha County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and I was almost instantaneously blocked. I cannot find the page on social media anymore. I cannot view any of the stuff from their page on social media anymore. And I have sent requests to be unblocked. Now you're going, okay, TC, what's the big deal? We get it. You're trying to accountability. So why are you bringing this up? Well, on Monday night, many of you who are watching, watched me sit down with my friend Marcy, and I will call her my friend even though we've never met in person. I sat down with my friend Marcy and we told the story about the death of her son Spencer, and we really laid the groundwork for at least 1 or 2, if not 3 more episodes, telling the story about what took place in what I believe is a cover-up and protection of the young man who unalived Spencer last year, and what has been done to mitigate the penalty for what he did, and to not really hold him accountable, and how people responded and reacted. And so we're laying the groundwork for that today. Sheriff Rodney Bartsh, I don't know how to say his last name. Sheriff Rodney Bartsh, with his personal YouTube channel, commented on my channel. I have the screenshots of it, so Sheriff, if you're watching this, don't bother deleting your comment. And I'll say that the sheriff was cordial in stating that the sheriff's office was only on scene to provide traffic control, not to do the investigation, and on and on and on. But he was commenting about the sheriff's office. He wasn't commenting personally, and he did express his condolences to Marcy and her family in the death of Spencer, which is very kind and gracious. I appreciate that. However, what he was doing was commenting with his personal social media YouTube account on my video with Marcy, talking about the role that his agency took, basically saying, hey, look, we don't want anything to do with this. We don't have, we had nothing to do with the investigation, and so on. He commented on my social media while he is directly responsible for me being blocked on his social media post for his agency. Folks, let that sink in. Most of you know, I rarely, if ever, especially here on the channel, ever block anyone. I don't care how much of a flaming troll you might be. In fact, most of the time I love trolls. Trolls are great for the most part, because trolls drive me up in the algorithm. Commenters drive me up in the algorithm. They keep pushing out my content by commenting. But I want you to let that sink in, that I am personally blocked through Facebook with my Todd Pearson account. I am personally blocked on Facebook from commenting on a law enforcement entity's Facebook page, from seeing that Facebook page, because they didn't like the fact that I pointed out that one of their deputies was violating the very traffic codes that he's tasked with enforcing in his own county. And keep in mind, what I pointed out in his conduct and his behavior was taking place in a county that he is not a deputy in. So he had no legitimate cause to be driving the way he was driving in a county he's not tasked with enforcing Minnesota traffic codes in, or Minnesota laws. Now, he could certainly execute a traffic stop in another county in the state of Minnesota. He's a licensed law enforcement officer according to a police officer standards and training post in Minnesota. He's perfectly within his rights to execute a traffic stop. But when you consider the distance from Rochester, Minnesota to Wabasha County, he was well outside of his assigned duties on a county or on a state highway in the state of Minnesota, in another county, not responding to an emergency, violating traffic codes. And that's what I pointed out. That's all I pointed out. There was no warning, no nothing, just blocked. 3 months ago this happened. the unmitigated gall that it takes for a public servant, you know, and I was reading a message from the sheriff to another individual, and I'm not going to name that person's name right now because I'm working on more stories out of Wabasha County, because as you folks have learned, if you've been around my channel long enough, once you crack the veneer, once you penetrate the thin veil of public servant masquerade that you see when you deal with any level of the state, city state, the county state, the school board state, the state and the federal state, when you peel back that thin layer of we're here to serve you, we're here to be your servants, when you peel that back and you start to tell stories, give accounts, documented accounts of cover-ups and corruption and dirty politics and all of that, once you start to tell it, people come out of the woodwork, because all of a sudden the light is shining and they're like, thank the good Lord in heaven that somebody else is talking about this now. And people have stories. And I'm going to tell you something. In the entire time that I've been doing my show, the entire time I've been doing this pod, I have had only 2 other occasions where I have had the number of people reach out to me, approach the volume of people I'm hearing from or about in the case of Wabasha County and Lake City in particular. I don't know if it's something in the water in Wabasha County. I don't know if it's something in the air in Wabasha County. I don't know if it's something about the fact that it's rural Minnesota and it's got this down-home, hometowny feel about it. I don't know if it's because it's such a tourist attraction in the summer, in the spring. I don't know what it is, but there's something dirty in Wabasha County, folks. And I'm telling you right now, this is huge. The stuff I'm hearing, the things that I'm hearing about Wabasha County, the things that I'm hearing about the county attorney, the things that I'm hearing about the chief of police of Plainview, Minnesota, the things that I'm hearing about Lake City itself, the things that I'm hearing all sorts of stuff. Now, anybody knows me, anybody who's been through this process with me can attest. Marcy will attest to this. I don't take anybody's comments at face value. You bring me the receipts. I want to see what we're going to talk about, because the last thing in the world that I want to do is put out information that cannot be verified. And Marcy, I know she's watching right now. I know Marcy will tell you right now that it was a months-long process with her before we started telling the story about Spencer. Months long. I don't just go, ooh, give me something juicy, I want to spread rumors. I want to know how invested you are in telling these stories. I want to know how invested you are in getting the truth out. I want to know that you're willing to go to the mat on this with me, because I don't want to be standing here holding the bag alone. But I am telling you, if only 10% of the information that's coming into me about how things operate with the Wabasha County Sheriff's Office, with the Lake City Police Department, with the Wilmer County, or with the, not Wilmer, that was the other one, with the Plainview Police Department, with the county attorney, Matt Stinson, you got a lot of people. You got a lot of people looking at you real hard right now, Matt Stinson. But Sheriff Bartsh, Rodney, I got a lot of people got a lot of questions about you too. I got a lot of people that have a lot of concerns about you. And you said something in a message to somebody, Sheriff. You said, Yes, I am the chief law enforcement officer in the county. Bingo. Absolutely right. You are the chief law enforcement officer. There's nobody with more law enforcement authority in the county than you. You outrank the state patrol, you outrank the BCA, you outrank the county attorney, you outrank the chiefs of police. Now, that doesn't mean you have the authority to tell any of them what to do, but you do have the authority and you do have a duty, goddammit, to stand up to the corruption. And if you are hearing stories of corruption, if you are hearing stories that people are out there in your jurisdiction as the highest law enforcement authority, as an executive, as an elected executive in Wabasha County, Rodney, you have a duty to begin to look into those things. You don't get to tell people that, I'm sorry, I might be the highest the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the county, but that's outside of my purview. These people depend on you, Sheriff. These people look to you. They see you. I will tell you right now, I know of at least 2 people right now who told me until they've gone through the things they've gone through, they were back to blue all the way. And now they're telling me I'd rather be robbed than call the cops. Now, that may not be a direct comment about you, Rodney, but what it is it's a direct comment on the nature and corruption of law enforcement, not just at a global level, not just at a national level here in the United States, across our republic. That is a molecular level commentary on law enforcement and corruption and the dirty politics. And so I am finding it very hard to believe that you took the time to watch the video that I did, this conversation that I had with Marcy, and that your heart grieves for her and the loss of Spencer, who I've been told you knew on a personal level. I'm having a hard time believing that your heart grieves for her, but at the same time, you take your job seriously as an oath-swearing, oath-taking defender of the Constitution of the United States of Minnesota, and you allow your people to block the media on your social media. Because, sir, I am a media personality. I am a journalist, sir, and just because I add editorial comments to the stuff that I research doesn't make me less a journalist. It doesn't make me less a part of the media. Rodney, when you see, I know you're going to see this, because I'm in response to your comment on my channel, Sheriff, I'm going to put the link in the comments. Sheriff Rodney, to go in and find out whoever runs your social media page and tell them to stop blocking people. Everyone that you have blocked, Sheriff, everyone that is blocked from commenting on your social media needs to be unblocked right now. And if you don't believe me, there is case law, there are Supreme Court rulings that back me up. So, Sheriff Rodney of Wabasha County, you can redeem yourself right now. You can take a look at that oath that you took, that you swore. To keep and defend the United States, and to keep and defend and protect the Constitution. The Constitution, which includes the First Amendment of the United States, which means you don't get to censor people's speech, Rodney. And don't say, well, I didn't know it happened, because it's your social media page. As long as you are the sheriff of Wabasha County, as long as you are the one in charge, as long as you are the highest law enforcement officer in Wabasha County, even if you have somebody managing your social media, it's your duty to lay down guidelines and dictates for them to say, you will not silence people. And if you try to argue, well, you're not one of my constituents, you don't live in Wabasha County, it doesn't matter. You get my tax dollars, Sheriff. My tax dollars in the state of Minnesota. Every single person watching this right now, every single person who sees this right now, Sheriff, who pays taxes in the United States, who's a wage slave to the regime, who's a wage slave to the state, every single one of them is responsible for funding your office, Sheriff. Your wages are paid, yes, through the county, but all of that money that you get comes from all over the state of Minnesota. It comes from all over the United States, because there is not a single law enforcement entity that does not receive federal tax dollars and state tax dollars, as well as the county tax dollars. So, Sheriff Rodney, you can redeem yourself right now. You can go out and you can make this right. And you're a media person, and you can say, stop blocking people. And Sheriff Rodney, heaven forbid it's you that's doing it. Heaven forbid it's you. Because if it's you personally, not only did you, let's say it's not you. Let's say it's one of your employees, one of the other public servants that works under you, under your authority as the highest law enforcement officer in Wabasha County. You have failed because you didn't set down guidelines that said we will not silence the people that we serve. And that is all people in Minnesota. That is all people in the United States. So you still failed. But if it was you, and it was your decision to actively decide to block me from commenting, to block me from seeing the channel or the page, if it was your decision, that's even worse. Because that tells me that you're a coward. That tells me that you can't handle pushback. That tells me you're not interested in getting to the root of the problem. I was doing some reading about your mission statement. I was doing some reading about you, Rodney, and what you believe about your agency and about your sheriff's office and about your staff, and that you uphold all these high standards. Hey, AVA, good to see you, man. I love you, brother. Could you go and get that information for Julia and put it in the chat, by the way? Rodney, if all of these things about upholding these high standards and all of this, if all this stuff about what you say is true, then why would you block somebody who points out when one of your deputies is doing wrong? Why would you hide that? I mean, that's a legitimate question, Rodney. I think it's a legitimate question that needs to be answered. Because I didn't come in there and attack you. I didn't come in there and use foul language, which, by the way, is protected speech. I could swear at you all day long. I could come on your social media platform and I could swear all day long. Because you are a representative of the state, Rodney. Your agency is a representative of the state. You don't get to tell people what they can and cannot say. You don't get to tell people what language they can use. You don't get to remove somebody who points out when one of your people has done wrong, and then have the balls, the unmitigated gall, to come over to my channel and basically make an official statement that your agency was not involved in the investigation, you were only there to provide security, and your heart goes out to Spencer's family at the time of his loss. Rodney, you have a lot of explaining to do. To quote Ricky from I Love Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Rodney, you got some splaining to do. See, nobody's going to take you seriously. At all, Rodney. If they know that you block people. If they know that you use the, yes, I'm the highest law enforcement authority in Wabasha County, but that's outside of my purview. No, corruption is never outside of your purview. A violation of one of your constituents' constitutionally enshrined natural rights is not outside of your purview. Rodney, I want you to hear me right now. I want you to understand, when one of your constituents, one of those people who elected you, whether they voted for you or not, we're just going to say, just in your county is being mistreated, having her natural rights violated by another law enforcement agency in the county that you are the highest law enforcement agency or officer in. When that person when that person has those rights trampled upon, when they have had their Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights trampled upon, and they appeal to you for some comfort, for some aid, for some succor, you have a duty, Rodney, you have a responsibility to honor your oath, to keep your oath, and to step up to the plate and say, this is going to be hard, but we're going to protect you. But no, Rodney, you didn't do that, did you? You may not have anything at all to do with the injustice that Marcy has faced in the death of Spencer. You may not have anything at all to do with that injustice. That may be all on Matt Stinson and his dirty, sycophantic connections to all the other people in Wabasha County, county commissioners and city council members and commissioners and board members and committee members from all different positions within local government. That may not have anything at all to do with you. You may not, you and your deputies may have executed the mission flawlessly. They may have gone into that accident that took Spencer's life, and they may have executed flawlessly. Maybe they really understood the mission and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Maybe this all lies on the State Patrol. Maybe this all lies on the back of Matt Stinson. But we know something about Matt Stinson. The county attorney is a sneaky, dirty, shady piece of garbage. You don't care about that? I mean, I'm not like, maybe there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know. I don't know. But we do know that there is a citizen, and I don't even like that term, but there is a citizen in Wabasha County, multiple actually, who are coming out of the woodwork now, ready to talk, wanting to tell their stories, who have run into corruption and dirt in different areas all over Wabasha County. People who are having their natural rights violated as they're delineated in the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Rodney, but you can't be bothered by that? You can't be bothered. That's outside of your purview? It's not outside of your purview to block members of the media. It's not outside of your purview to block editorial journalists. That's not outside of your purview. But it is outside of your purview to watch out for the natural rights of the people that you swore to protect and defend, of the republic that you swore to protect and defend, of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that you swore to uphold and protect and defend. I mean, if you could turn your eyes away, if you could turn a blind eye to I don't know, let's say constitutional violations of people's rights in your county, would you do that with any law that's being violated? I mean, that's a fair question, Rodney. I mean, it's fair to ask, I think. I mean, would you let, like, one of your buddies slide when they break the law, Rodney? I mean, you sure covered up for the deputy of yours who got caught speeding on Highway 52 north in Rochester 3 months ago. You covered that up real quick, didn't you? Wouldn't let me, comment on your page. See, Rodney, this is why people are turning. People who used to be back the blue, Rodney, people who were dyed in the wool back the blue supporters, no matter what, back the blue at all costs, are turning on law enforcement, Rodney, because they see the double standards, they see the corruption, they see the sneaky, underhanded ways you guys all watch out for one another. They see the fact that you really don't honor the Constitution. They see the fact that the Constitution only works for you when it's a good public image play. That's when it matters to you, Rodney. So we're going to see how honorable you are, Rodney. We're going to see how honorable you are, Sheriff. We're going to see how much you actually care about that oath that you swore when you first took office. And you could start by removing the block that has me from viewing your social media on Facebook. Start there. And if you can't be bothered to do that little step, then how can we trust you, Rodney, to actually do your job and protect the natural rights, the constitutionally enshrined natural rights of the citizens under your protection, not under your authority, under your protection from enemies of the Constitution, both foreign, but especially domestic, Rodney. You could fix this. You can go a long ways towards fixing this by starting to make things right now. But if you can't be bothered to do that, no one's going to believe that you'll be bothered to fix anything or make anything right in your county. This should be job one for you right now. I look forward to hearing from you, Rodney. You can email me, mbrrpodcast@yahoo.com. I'm not your enemy. I'm the one person watching out for you, Rodney. While you're surrounded by yes men and women, while you're surrounded by people who would love nothing more than to say that they're good friends with Sheriff Rodney, because gosh darn it, we back the blue at all costs, I'm the one that's watching out for you. You have a chance to make it right. You have a chance to start standing up for the people in your community, the people in your county, and people in the state. Dissonant voices have every bit as much of a right to be heard, if not more, than supportive voices. We will believe, Rodney, that you are serious about transparency and serving the community when you unblock everybody who's blocked from your page, and when you reach out to people who have had their rights trampled on and say that we will not allow that in this county anymore. I would love to talk to you. You have my email. I would love to hear from you. If I were a betting man, I would say it's not going to happen. I'm pretty sure it won't. But let's say I'll give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 weeks to email me and let me know. And I'll give you a week to unblock me on social media. You unblock me on social media, Rodney, in a week, I'll let everybody know that you did the right thing. I will let everyone know. But if you don't, then there's legal recourse for anybody who's been blocked on social media. There is legal recourse. I would strongly suggest that you and County Attorney Matt Stinson look into the case law. Look into the case law, Rodney. Have that stellar attorney that you turn cases over to for charging. Have that stellar attorney look into case law in the state of Minnesota. I'm not going to do the work for you, Rodney. Do a little investigation of your own. Yes, Rodney should like, share, and subscribe, Snarky. I do appreciate you saying that. Speaking of which, I meant to do that the last time, Snarky. My apologies. There's legal precedence backs me up on this. But see, I'm not a litigious person, Rodney. But I'm not above that. If it means cracking the rock of cover-up. This is your opportunity, right here, right now, to make it right. What are you going to do? Because if you can start this ball rolling, maybe, just maybe, Sheriff will believe you actually give a damn about the people who are suffering injustices inside of Wabasha County, not just at the hands of criminal element, but at the hands of public servants. And I'm telling you right now, it is terrible, the things that I am hearing. If only 5% of it are true, you guys have a problem on your hands, Rodney. And I would love to see you be the solution and not a symptom. Once again, folks, if you like what I do, if you support what I do, and you want to see me to be able to continue to do it, and you have the wherewithal, hit the join button here or go over to Subscribestar and join there. I'm not worthy of your support, but I'm thankful for it. I'm just a loudmouth with a platform. I'm not the one that makes this stuff happen. It's people like Marcy and so many others. I'm a no one. But if you like what I do and you want to support, I would be thankful for it. If you have to choose between, and you want to support, but you have to choose between supporting me or Chase and his family, then please support Chase and his family. So I'm going to try and go to this sentencing tomorrow, and if I do, I will be doing an update immediately following sentencing to let you guys know what happens with Chase. And how long he's going to have to sit. He's a good guy, and he's really turned his life around. He made a mistake, but he doesn't deserve to be a felon, convicted felon over the mistake that he made. What he did was not. It's not worth the time that he's sitting. Sitting down with Marcy again this weekend, and her second episode with me will be airing on Monday night. I'm working on other stories now coming out of Wabasha County. So we have just begun to dig, and we will not stop digging until we get as much truth as we possibly can out. Folks, please share this. Every share helps. If all you can afford to do is hit the like button and the share button, I will be eternally grateful for that. And I'm not lying. I gave up a lot when I started this channel. I've been through a shitstorm since I started this show. And if I can help just one person, then it's worth it. Because I have a lot to make up for in the ways that I failed to uphold my oath when I was in. So, yep, I got to get going. I got to get groceries in the house, and I got to get cleaned up. And please, if you guys have the time tonight, come in and watch my conversation with Spike Cohen. He's a phenomenal individual, and there's no way for me to oversell it. Spike is a phenomenal human being, and I'm looking forward to having him on for the second time tonight. You guys are going to love him, so please tune in 8 p.m. tonight, and show up in the chat. You guys are going to love him. I admire him greatly. So, my friends, thank you for tuning in. Please share this out. Rodney, email me. I'd love to hear from you. Unblock me. That would be even better. Until next time, my friends, fight for your freedom. It is yours. Fight for your liberty. It belongs to you. And say it with me. Sic semper, Tyrannus.